Africa Today, Wednesday, 24 June 2026. Africa's diplomatic calendar moved into focus today, as foreign ministers and senior officials gathered at the African Union headquarters in Addis Ababa for the 49th ordinary session of the Executive Council. Preparations are also underway for the 8th Media Coordination Meeting, which begins on the 27th of June and will bring together the African Union and regional economic communities to address resource mobilization, regional integration, and various economic growth across the continent. The African Union also received an important update on South Sudan's peace process. Former Tanzanian President and AU High Representative for the Horn of Africa briefed AU leadership on efforts to accelerate implementation of the revitalized agreement on the resolution of the conflict in South Sudan. Discussions focused on outstanding challenges, including security sector reforms, the expansion of civic and political freedoms, and progress toward completing the country's long-delayed constitution ahead of future elections. In a notable display of diplomatic unity, the African Union Commission, the League of Arab States, and the Organization of Islamic Cooperation issued a joint statement condemning ongoing settlement expansion and annexation efforts in the occupied Palestinian territory. The three organizations expressed concern about developments affecting E1 settlement area, the E1 settlement area, and the Al Khan Al Hama Bedouin community, arguing that such actions undermine international law and prospects for a lasting peace. Economic discussions across the continent continue to be shaped by growing trade ties with China. As Africa and China mark 70 years of diplomatic relations, leaders highlighted the impact of China's expanded zero tariff policy, which now covers products from 53 African countries. The initiative is expected to strengthen agricultural exports, support local manufacturing, and create new employment opportunities, particularly for young people. At the same time, rising global energy market pressures are creating challenges for several African economies. Ongoing disruptions linked to international tensions affecting the Strait of Hormuz have contributed to fuel supply concerns and higher domestic prices. Kenya and the Comoros have experienced some of the strongest public reactions, with transport operators and labor groups staging protests over escalating fuel costs. Migration remains a sensitive issue in southern Africa, as a key immigration deadline approaches at the end of June. South Africa is continuing efforts to process, repatriate, and deport undocumented migrants, many of whom originate from neighboring Southern African Development Community countries. The developments have intensified regional discussions around migration management, labor mobility, and border controls. Security concerns are also mounting in the Sahel and West African border regions. Recent conflict monitoring reports indicate that the Islamic State Sahel province has strengthened its presence along the Nigeria border and has claimed attacks inside northern Nigeria for the first time in several years. At the same time, the rival militant group has carried out coordinated assaults against military positions in northern Benin and Niger, highlighting the growing security pressures facing the region. In North Africa, Libya's eastern-based administration announced new entry restrictions affecting nationals from 4 sub-Saharan African countries. Authorities say the measures are linked to national security considerations and labor market reforms, adding another dimension to the continent's evolving migration and border management landscape.